that time. I would like to introduce the gentleman that is so manly, so fucking manly, that he truly almost made me straight. Guys, please put those hands together and welcome to the stage, JPB!
Mad at me right off the bat. But I'm JPB. I know what you're thinking is, my God, this guy's been in a lot of hockey fights in the stands at his kids' game against other parents. Wrong, right? My wife's safe word is, my God, get off of me, I can't breathe. Well, it's a big night, and I'm glad you're all here supporting local comedy. My kids are here seeing me perform for the first time, some of them. And that's really great. So we're going to you see, you guys can learn a lot from this guy. Okay? It's all right. You can call me daddy if you want. Brian, not that kind of daddy. Has anybody ever heard the phrase, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life? Does anybody believe it? No, it's bullshit, right? In my day job, I program computers, and every day for the last 27 years has been work. Right? It's work. When 5 o'clock rolls around, I don't want to mess with computers. Right? I'm basically an Amish farmer. So there I am in my Amish paradise with my 85-inch TV, my air conditioning, my fully stocked bar, my recliner. And I hear, other than that, I'm Amish. And I hear from the other room, I hear my wife say, God damn it, it happened again. I'm like, what happened, honey? And she says, every time I try to log into the bank, all these dick pics pop up. So I've got two choices, right? I can either leave my Amish paradise and go fix it, or I can convince her that it's a new security feature that we put out there for us. Hey, honey, just click on the dicks as far as safety. And I gotta tell you, she loves online banking now. I mean, I can't get her away from it. My credit score is 50 points higher in just 2 weeks. It's amazing. But it's not just me. Right? I think it's probably the same for a guy like the Pope. Right, the Pope's getting home from work right about now, and he walks into his apartment, and he takes off his Pope hat, and he takes off his Pope robes, and he puts them in the beard. Hey, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. All right, that's confusing. You have to understand in my mind that the Pope is always Italian. Okay, I don't care where he's from, he's always Italian. And he wants to be a cowboy. Now you say to yourself, why does the Pope want to be a cowboy? For one, there's never been an Italian cowboy. Have you ever seen it? You watch the old westerns, you see Chinese cowboys, you see Mexican cowboys, you see black and white cowboys, even Irish cowboys, but never an Italian cowboy. Why? And I think it's because when you talk and count Roman numerals and you talk with your hands, it's really hard to win a gunfight. Right? Come on. Right? But the Pope has dreams. Right? He wants to do other things besides deal with you sinners every day. Right? Because he doesn't love what he does anymore, like we all do. When you do this for work, and you come home, it's no longer fun, you don't want to mess with it, right? And that's why I think we should all feel sorry for gynecologist wives. That's a thinker. Now, another saying I've heard is, to make an omelet, you have to break some eggs. Has anyone heard that saying? Right? The smart one gets it over here. But what it means is, to make something nice, you gotta break something, right? And it reminded me of a conversation I had with an engineering friend of mine. This is gonna get a little nerdy and techy, but I'll walk you through it. He started a company making AI-powered pool cameras. And so he said, what we did is we tried to train the computer to watch the images, and when your kid fell in the pool, it would send you an alert. Maybe his last words, I don't know what the end was there. That was the idea. I said, that's a really cool idea? Did it work? And he said, well, we made 16 cameras and they only worked 4 times. And we went out of business. And I said, well, maybe your problem is marketing. Instead of marketing it that way, you should just say, we saved 4 kids. Right? But here's the thing that's really interesting. You guys know how we train computers to recognize things like a kid drowning in the pool? Is we have to train them. The way that we train them is, let's say you want to teach a computer how to recognize a cat, right? You showed a bunch of pictures of cats, and you showed a bunch of pictures that aren't a cat. You do this for a while, and it eventually figures it out in statistics, and you say, is this a cat? And it says, yeah, I got that, I know what a cat is. The problem with computers is it doesn't work that way for pornography. Because no matter how many pictures you show it, you say, you know what pornography is now? And the computer says, no, I don't think so. Can you show me some gangbang videos? This is for the younger crowd, not those 6-minute preview videos. You're going to pay for the premium subscription, right? So now that you know that, you can see where my confusion comes in. As James was describing this to me, I looked at it and I said, well, where the hell do you get a training day instead of drowning kids training a computer? And so that's why now, in my profession, we say, if you want to build an AI-powered pool camera, you have to drown a few kids. Do we have any Harry Potter fans in the house? All right, listen to the crowd. That's okay. Do we have anybody that likes political humor? Yeah! Do we have anybody that likes impressions? Bad impressions. Even better. Okay. This is not all of that. So, Harry Potter, right? Everyone knows who knows Harry Potter. He goes to this rich, preppy school for rich white kids called Hogwarts. Right? They have to make up sports because they're not good at sports. They have Quidditch and crap like that. But what I want to know is, where do the kids that want to do blue-collar jobs, where do the blue-collar kids go to? Like the guy that drives that crazy bus, right? Or they work in a lawn shop. And I think there might be like a Hogwarts Votech, right? And that's where they go. They're good at sports, right? And then the people at Hogwarts, so what I think they won't play sports with them because they try to play the basketball, and that's like seeing the Israeli national team play the Harlem Globetrotters. Right? It doesn't work out real well. And maybe at this school, there's lots of different programs. There's, all kinds of different things, auto repair and whatnot. And everybody know who Dumbledore is? Everybody know who Dumbledore is? Yeah, Dumbledore, he's like the good wizard. Everybody knows he's a great guy, whatever. But we'll get more to him later. But maybe he has a brother, Carl Dumbledore. And Carl goes to Votech because Carl wants to be a landscape wizard. Right? And he just heard Randy look at their schedules at the start of the term, and Carl's confused, and he says, hey, Randy, why do I have to take Spanish? And Randy says, because, Carl, all the landscaping spells are in Spanish. So now the bad guys, the Death Eaters, they get this figured out that we can bring up all this cheap labor from south of the border. Right? We can pay them nothing. And the house elves, there are elves who do all the housework and the gardening. Now they're mad because they're going to put to work. And Dobie, like a lead house elf, he goes to Harry Potter and he says, oh, Harry Potter, why don't they go back to where they came from? You didn't laugh at that. It's okay. This isn't my story. This is J.K. Rowling's story. This is related to the facts, right? So now you got Voldemort. He's the really bad guy. He says, this is great, all this cheap labor. We can bring all these people up in South America. Open the borders. This is great. And that's how we know that Voldemort is a progressive. Right? Now, the good guy, Dumbledore, if Voldemort, I'm trying to warn you ahead of time, this is going to be an impression, it's not going to be very good. But Dumbledore, that makes him a MAGA conservative. Right? So this is my impersonation of a MAGA conservative Dumbledore. Alright? You ready? Hogwarts, I told you it's going to be bad. Hogwarts, wow. Wow, what a school. I walked in here, I said, what a beautiful school, Hogwarts. Only great wizards are the headmaster of Hogwarts. That's not me. All the talking, there's talking pictures. I didn't mention that. There's talking pictures. All the talking pictures, they say, wow, you must be a great wizard. I wanted to rename the school Dumbledore U, but the Main Street media, Rita Skeeter, Repulsive Rita, I don't say it. They say it, some people say it. partnered with Hogwarts Votech. I sent them my book, The Art of the Spell, at no cost. They love me over there. They saw my mugshot from Azkaban. I have street cred. Now, for those of you that are offended, again, that's not my story. This is what happens. This is what happens when you let someone who's anti-trans write children's books. Right? Everything is confused. How many parents do we have out here? I think someone has two. It's hard being a parent. And it's really hard being a parent because our parents fucked us up. You know, the 70s were a great time to have. Some people have lived through the decade of love and sexual exploration. Finally, women could have sex for fun. That's awesome. But then our parents are like, well, now we have to teach our kids about masturbation. Okay? So my dad tried. This is how my masturbation talk was with my dad. I'm like 13 years old. I'm in the car. It's just the two of us. And he looks at me and he says, so, you beat off yet? Well, I'm not answering that. Crazy. And he says, hey, if you say no, there's either something wrong with you or you're lying. I think it's time you did your own laundry. That was the talk. All right, ready to go. So now I'm armed with parental advice. And my son came to me. He was 10 years old. And he had his little list. And he looked at me and he said, Daddy, how do you masturbate? And my first thought was, I gotta keep you away from the foreign exchange students. But how am I gonna answer that? So using the power that my dad gave me, I looked him in the eye and got down and close to him and I said, son, precisely the way that your mother tells me to. If you guys have seen me masturbate or take out the trash, you see me masturbate. Right? Now it's hard being a parent today, being in your 50s and understanding the world and all the different types of sexuality and stuff going on. And I'm not here to preach about that, but I do know one thing, and that is that no matter if you're gay, straight, bi, other, whatever that is, that there are stages to intimacy, and they're all the same for all of us. And so I describe it like this. When you first start dating someone, and you're a little nervous, and you're trying some things, and you're experimenting, and that's fun. And then your partner fights in front of you. And now you're relaxed. All bets are off. You're trying everything you saw on the internet. And it's fun and it's great to do that. And then you decide to raise a family. And now this person becomes a parent of your children. Right? So now there's some respect there. There's a little different. You look at the phase where I'm not now, which is sex. Which, by the way, honey, I got your email and Saturday works. I'll shower. Great. I don't know why she asked. I'm not going to say no. When you live there, and then you get to the end stage of life with Margaret, you've been to what I like to call the phase of heroic acts. Okay, and I can best describe it like this. When your grandpa drives 12 hours by himself across country to pick you and your brothers and your sister up, and maybe pukes on the way and you break the inside of his car, he doesn't get mad. That's not because Grandpa loves you. It's because Grandma loves you. And this will make Grandma very happy. And maybe this time she'll take her teeth out. Where are my anti-vaxxers at? Anti-vaxxers? Ooh, yeah, my kids for some reason are raised like that. Like anti-vaxxers. But I am anti-vax. But not for the reasons that you think. So those of you that are in the medical field don't hate me. Let me finish this before we judge me. And I'm not anti-vax because I don't think that they work or they cause autism and all that stuff. No, I know they work. I'm anti-vax because my parents grew up in the 30s. Okay? My parents were some greatest generation stuff. Think about how those people were raised. What they deal with war, poverty, rusty jungle gyms, right? Hell, disease, polio, smallpox, right? I mean, drunk driving wasn't even illegal yet. It was just kind of frowned upon. So back then, kids died. Right? Nobody cared. Nobody made a big deal about it. Kids died. You have another one, you move on. And so that's how my parents raised me. And so from the day I came out of my mom, it was a fight for survival. Right? My first pictures, my mom showed me, I had scars on my face because my head was so big they had to pry me out of it. And that's nothing about her virtue. I know I'm 6'4", I know what I look like. I was a big baby. I had a giant head. Every picture of me till I was 8, I'm propped up against something because I can't hold my head. Right? So they take me out and they clean me off and they hand me my mom. And her first words to me were, "My God, this one's going to eat a lot." My dad suddenly is out in the hallway and he's taking bets. He's laying odds. They're long shot, but I'm going to make it. In fact, my neighbor called me long shot my entire life. So every day is a struggle to survive, right? To fight. In fact, every time someone in the neighborhood got sick, my mom would say, "Yo, Biggie, why don't you and the dumb one go down to Billy's house? He's got the measles. Tell him to feel better." I don't know why my mom sounded like an 80s LA gang member. That's just how I remember her. And my sister didn't have to deal with this shit, right? Because she had skill. She could cook. So when she was 10, my dad took her aside and put his arm around her and said, "Hey, look, honey, you've got a choice to make. I'm going to give you a choice. You can either cook dinner every night or get the measles." So she cooked dinner every night, so she was safe. But me, no, it was a constant fight to survive. And so when I was 10, I wanted to ride a bike. So I said, "Mom, can I have a bike?" And she said, "Yeah, there's bike parts in the garage. Go make yourself a bike." So at 10, I made a bike, and I went to ride the bike. And of course, there were safety rules, right? Back in the 1970s. The safety rule is basically the same rule as going outside and play. And that was, unless you're playing in the hose, put on a pair of pants. So there I am, in my shorts, no helmet, no shirt, no shoes. And I'm pedaling around the neighborhood with my homemade bike, and what do you think happens? I pack me in the front tire, hit the ground, give myself a concussion, and I go home crying. And my mom looks at me and she says, "Oh, it's just a minor concussion." Now, I'm not sure. Maybe it was a concussion talking, but it didn't sound like, "Oh, you poor thing, it's just a minor concussion." It sounded more like disappointment, like, "Oh, we were hoping it'd be a hell of a lot worse." Right? Now, you're all sitting there, you're all looking at me, and you're saying, "What the hell does this have to do with vaccines?" I'm getting there. I'm getting there. My son, when he turned 10, we decided it was time to let him go around the block on the sidewalk on his bike. Yeah, it was that one, the big one. And so we put him in the helmet, the shoulder pads, wrist pads, knee pads, pants. He looked like something out of Mad Max, the Road Warrior. Right? And he went around for 15 minutes. It took him 15 minutes to get around, and I was terrified the whole way. He had to go on the street. He went around, I was terrified. And so at some point, we went from, "Oh, it's just a minor concussion," to, "Oh my God, it's a concussion!" Right? It totally changed everything. And I don't care where you fall on the science vaccine spectrum. Okay, I don't care where you get your news, where you fall is that. The science has not proven to me that there is a better way to deal with a kid who's a jerk than smallpox. And vaccines have taken that away as an option. And I don't think it's fair because for the first time in human history, right, whether that's for you, 5,000 years, millions of years, whatever, the first time in human history, my generation, Generation X, we are the first generation where the expectation is that all of our kids should live. And I don't think it's fair. I'm JP. You guys are very nice. Thank you very much.